Hey there, let me show you how I get these Blood Angels tabletop ready. I'm going to start off with Mephiston Red, and I'm going to apply it to my dry brushing palette. And I'm going to use an overbrushing technique, so I'm going to leave a bit more paint on my dry brush to get a lot more coverage on the armor. I'm then going to switch over to a brighter red, so I'm going to use Pro Acryl Bold Pyral Red. And here I'm trying to pull up the highlights on those higher, more raised surfaces using more of a traditional dry brushing technique. You can see how that's kind of coming out, turning out here. All right, so for some more of the kind of slower process here, I'm going to switch over to Vallejo Game Air Chainmail. And with this paint, I really like using the airbrush or air versions of metallic paints. They paint on really smooth and nice. I don't have to worry about them clumping up and drying on my makeshift wet palette that I've got there, which is simply just a Tupperware little sandwich container. It's got some paper towels in there and some kitchen paper or parchment paper. So I'm basically blocking in all the silver bits. Hit the chain sword, hit the power pistol, the plasma pistol. Got the vents on his backpack. Um, got some other silver or chrome bits just around the model. He's got that um, arm, robotic arm there too. All right, so after I finished up with the silver, I'm going to switch over to Citadel Black Legion Contrast Paint. This is a really nice, dark, highly pigmented contrast paint. It's great for painting over, like here, I'm painting the gun casings of the plasma pistol. If you're wanting more of the under silver to show through a little bit more, then you'd want to use maybe a black Templar instead. But I wanted to make sure it was well covered, nicely covered. So blocking in the plasma pistol and the chain sword in this part. So just to let you guys know, I'm getting these Blood Angels ready. I'm putting together two kill teams of Intercession units to basically go versus mode. I'm kind of putting them together to create two different teams. So I've got the Ultramarines already painted up, got that video over on the channel. So I was getting a Blood Angel team put together as well. All right, so here I'm blocking in the chest eagle, painting up the belts, any of the pouches that he's got on him as well. Oh yeah, I got the Under Armour during this step as well. And then the pistol pouch is another piece that I got during this process as well. And if I remember right, I'll go in and get the bottom of his boots as well. Oh yeah, and for the Sergeant model, I went in and blocked out the inside of the shoulder pads too. Forgot about that part. I left those red on the other 5 guys. All right, moving on. I really like this Vallejo Magenta. Just a paint that I picked up when I was still using more Vallejo colors, and it works really well for the purity seals. One of my favorite colors is Pro Acryl White Blue. Picking out where the eye lenses are going to get painted. And I'm switching over to using a basing texture at this point. I'm trying to paint these guys up quick. And I know the basing texture is going to take a little bit to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the basing texture. I like to typically wait till the end to do this step, but I wanted to let it dry while I'm painting some of the other things. And I forgot to do the plasma coil, so I went back with that Pro Acryl White Blue and highlighted the plasma gun. Alright, so here I'm going to get the Nuln Oil out. I'm going to do an all over wash over all the metallics and all the blacks as well. I'm actually going to end up washing the blacks a second time later on after I apply some edge highlighting. But just adding some depth here to those metallics mostly. Alright, next step, we're using Pro Acryl Ivory. And with this, I wanted his skin tone to be a little bit lighter, so I'm going to paint his head and go ahead and paint his hair here as well. But I'm going to use some different washes on his face versus his hair here shortly. And then I also picked out any purity seals, the ribbon of the purity seal too. Alright, so that white is probably dry. So my favorite Plasma Glow paint right now is this Citadel Frost Heart. It's just an awesome blue color. Alright, and just a touch of Warp Lightning to pick out the eye lenses. And then moving over to Seraphim Sepia. And here we're going to apply this to the purity seal ribbon. Oh, in his hair. Give him a blonde look. And then for his face, we're going to use Guilliman Flesh. And then from there, we're going to get the neutral gray out. And we're going to do some edge highlighting on all the black bits that I already have painted. So I've got the chest eagle, trying to apply some highlights to his knee pads, giving some scratches in his gun pouch, along the plasma gun and the chainsword. And then I'm also going to hit the higher parts of his shoulder pads, kind of like I did with the knee pad. Just to give it a look of highlight on those. Alright, so now I'm going to get the tan flesh out and I'm going to apply this kind of lightly, almost a dry brush fashion with a regular brush to his facial features, especially his raised cheekbones, nose, sides of his head, and then to get his hair to be a little bit lighter, more of a blonde looking hair. I'm doing the same kind of dry brushing type of technique using this pale yellow color. Alright, so to kind of bring down those highlights just a tad, I'm going to just wash those quick with a Nuln Oil. So where I applied those edge highlights with that neutral gray, I just wanted to kind of tone it down just a little bit. So that's why I'm applying the Nuln Oil. Alright, so getting the Agrex Earth shade out, just washing down that gray basing texture because it's dry at this point. Alright, and while that's drying, I'm going to grab Art Coat and I'm going to paint the Art Coat over wherever I'm going to apply a transfer. So on the Sergeant model, it's shoulder pads and his little tilting shield. Gonna get a really old makeup dry brush here and add a little bit of lighting with this bright neutral gray, both to the base, and then I'm gonna dust his lower legs a little bit too. And then applying water to those decals. Get those nice and wet so they come off of the backing. And using a smaller brush here, I've just got an older brush that I'm using, applying those decals on his shoulders, tilting plate. Yeah, just shoulders and tilting plate. All right, so with coal black, I'm going to paint the base rim. And then I'm going to come back with this art coat and apply more art coat, but now I'm painting over those decals. And for some reason, I like to paint the base rims twice, and I like that little bit shinier look that contrast paint leaves for the base rims. And then I almost missed this guy, but I wanted to number each of my models. So I'm applying just numbers over the other decal and putting some Lamia medium over those decals to help give it a dull coat from the art coat. So here's the final result. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for joining me, and if you like this one, please like and subscribe. Thanks again.